Yizzo, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You feel what I'm saying? Now listen, man. You could tap in and you could tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. Now you already know time, energy, the highest forms of currency, my G. I know they got you out here chasing the bag, chasing that money, chasing that paper, stacking that cheese, that cheddar, and that mozzarella. But always keep it in the front of your mental Rolodex. That time and energy are the highest forms of currency, my G's, at all times. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Now, big salute to all my day one investors, everybody that's highly invested in the channel, everybody that understands that we are growing this channel organically, constant elevation. Yeah, we on our way to the top, well over 50,000 subscribers. We on our way to 60K, all right? Even bigger salute to all my newcomers, all my new subscribers, all my new investors, everybody that's making their way to the Realest channel on YouTube. Yours truly, Grown Man Business TV, is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. You know how I'm giving it up, and you absolutely know how I'm putting it down, my G's, all right? Now, look, man, do me a favor. Wipe off your feet before you step into the big house. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure your notification bells are ringing loud and clear every time you step foot in the Realest channel on YouTube. Yours truly, Grown Man Business TV, is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be, all right? Now, I got a lot of people in my DM. Yo, Big G and BTV, what's your thought process on everything that's going down? It's a federal holiday. It's Martin Luther King Day. Like, what's your perspective on this whole situation with Martin Luther King and a federal holiday? And I got to say, man, it is absolutely nasty work. Absolutely nasty work. When it comes to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, etc., the Black Panthers, Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, this is not a federal holiday. You understand what I'm saying? This is American history. Yeah, absolutely. American history. You can't bottle that up in a month. You can't bottle that up in a day. You know what I mean? And the fact that they made this a federal holiday, I mean, it's diabolical. It's nasty work, and it's diabolical when it come down to the dog fur and how far the dog fur will go on American soil to change the narrative. Feel me? To move the goalposts. So it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. All right, now I want to say this. This is not going to be a Martin Luther King bashing session. We not about to bash MLK. We not going to disrespect MLK. But what we are going to do is we are going to shine some light on the real agenda of what the civil rights movement was, on what they was planning to do, what they was asking for. You understand what I'm saying? This is where it get deep, it get wicked, and it's always deep in the rap, because they're gonna feed you a narrative, a false narrative of unity. Kumbaya, yeah, they want you to feel like we all in the kumbaya session. Everything plays into the 360. Everything leads back to the dog fur. And everything that's happening right now on American soil with Donald J. Trump, everything that's happening right now on American soil out there in Minneapolis, you got to know something. They wouldn't even be able to make these type of moves if it wasn't for my people laying their life down, spilling blood on American soil. All right? So you already know, man. We're going to have a conversation. Big salute to the chat. I'm about to be crossing state lines at all times. I'm heading out to the truck tonight. And before we go get this money, before we go and do what we do best, it's only right that I leave y'all a piece, pure dope, straight off the brick into the bottles. It's only right that I tap in with y'all and give y'all some pure dope, straight off the brick, directly into the bottle. All right? Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. MLK Day, federal holiday, nasty word, okay? Now, before we go any further, you already know I got to do some customizations to the chat. One thing for sure, two things for certain, the higher-ups and the elites are playing chess at the highest level. They always trying to shadow ban the channel. They always trying to muffle the message. The higher-ups and the elites understand that Grown Man Business TV is an absolute threat to the establishment. Yeah, they know that. Yeah, not only that, but they know that the revolution will be televised. It will be televised right here in these YouTube streets. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. But watching what they doing with these so-called fake Black Panthers, you know what I'm saying? And then it's MLK Day, federal holiday. You got to be able to see the play. Don't fall for the double cross. Pay attention to the triple cross. Nasty work. All right. And where's the federal holiday for Malcolm X? We gonna talk about that. Where's the federal holiday for Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, the Black Panther Party? We gonna talk about that. It's a reason why MLK getting all this praise and all this love, because the dog fur, they had a chance to create the narrative. Matter of fact, let me digress. Let me get into customizing the chat. Hit the like button and all that when y'all come in here. We gonna have a conversation, man, that they don't want us to have. We're gonna have some dialogue that they don't want us to talk about. That's why this platform is so powerful. That's my voice is so powerful. It's more powerful than Fox News. It's more powerful than CNN. It's more powerful than the Breakfast Club with DJ Envy and Charlamagne the God playing butt tag every day on your morning radio. This is the side of independent content creating they didn't plan for. They didn't plan for a black man like myself to speak the way I'm speaking and stand on that grown man business every time. They never planned for this side of it. Okay? So, like I said, man, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Mr. Universe, I see you in here. Breezy Santana, you already know I got shooters in the chat. We not staying long. Like I said, I got business to do. I got some work to handle. I'm gonna be crossing state lines at all times. I'm headed back to the truck. After getting my endorsements and doing what I needed to do, now I'm about to head back to the truck. It's one step at a time. We're gonna talk about that at the end of this live stream. Big salute to the chat. Make sure you tap in, make sure you subscribe, make sure you do what you need to do when you come in here. We're gonna have a conversation. And I got shooters in the chat. Yeah, absolute shooters, marksmen, dead eye. You know what a dead eye is? Don't worry. You see that right there. You see that right there at the bottom of the chat, right? Before you get in here with your Twitter fingers, doing your Twitter fingers and using your Twitter fingers to do what the Twitter fingers like to do and all that Twittering in the chat with the Twitter fingers, trolling and Twittering all in the chat with your Twitter fingers, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure your notification bells are ringing loud and clear. Every time you step foot in the Realest channel on YouTube, yours truly, Grown Man Business TV, is what it is and it'll be what it's gonna be. Yeah, I said my shooters is dead eyes. Yeah, that's another word for marksman. That's another word for somebody that's gonna hit the bullseye. Yeah, the word dead eye is another word for marksman. So if you can shoot that thing, you a dead eye. All right? And salute to the chat. Now, let's talk about this. MLK, federal holiday. Let's start right here, man. When I was growing up, a lot of the OGs always told me that, they told me the real story behind Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement and, what was going on American soil at that day and age, right? And they always tell me that they didn't agree with MLK. MLK, they were asking for not equal, was it equal rights? They wasn't asking for, like, the equal rights thing. They didn't want, they was asking for their own situation. They were asking for their own they wanted their own laws written into the bills, into the Congress, into this nation to protect black people. They wanted to be left alone. They wasn't really looking for what MLK was pushed into, selling America. They wasn't looking for that. They didn't want to integrate. That was something that they did not want to do. And the majority of our community, the majority of the real black people that was feet on the ground, the real stand-up black man in America, the hard-working black family in America, the last thing that they were asking for was to be integrated into these schools with dog fur having people, integrated into these restaurants or integrated into these neighborhoods. That's not what we were asking for. You understand what I'm saying? We wanted the right to build our own communities, build our own cities in peace. In peace. And in the beginning of this situation with MLK, right? I'm gonna give y'all some game on this. It was hardworking black Americans, hardworking black families, God, man, woman, and child. The nuclear black family is who funded Martin Luther King in the beginning. In the beginning, there was no, George Soros type activity. There was no government funding. There was no corruption. It was Martin Luther King is the spokesman. The nuclear black family is funding Martin Luther King. And let me tell you something. At that time, we had a nuclear black flame. There was no project buildings yet. There was no government assistance for black people. We had left out of slavery, and our ancestors had took the land that they purchased. Yeah, because we didn't walk away with land. We didn't get land that we were supposed to get. And I got the receipts. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get into this. We literally pulled ourselves up by the bootstraps, like they always say, and we created community. We created wealth. We generated that paper dough. Yeah, that green, that paper, that cheddar. We started to generate that. And black families are who funded Martin Luther King in the beginning to get our point across, to push the narrative, to push the agenda of what we was trying to do. Somewhere down the line, things got corrupted. Somewhere down the line, we lost the message. And we're going to talk about that because you already know all roads lead back to who? Yeah. All roads lead back to the dog fur. Okay? Okay? This the part they don't really talk about. They always talk about the I had a dream speech. They always talk, that's the only thing they push when it comes to this federal holiday. I had a dream that black and white children would block. That's what they push. They don't talk about the nuclear family. They don't talk about what we was doing in the beginning. They don't talk about the momentum and emotion we had. All they push is integration. Black and white people living together, working together, going to school together. They did that for a reason. They had us looking at the double cross when we wasn't paying attention to the triple cross. And when you get deep into this situation with MLK and Martin Luther King and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, what you will realize is it was a play from the jump. When they realized how powerful we was, the nuclear family, when they realized that black people had single family homes, we had built communities, we were building generational wealth, there was nobody that could stop us. When they realized that, they realized that the only way to suppress that was integration. That's the only way that we can stop this. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to, we're going to get into this receipt, right? But I want you to understand something. The beautiful thing about this situation, the ill thing about it, right, is that Martin Luther King came to his senses right before he was assassinated. Right before he was assassinated, he came to his senses, and we're going to talk about that, and I got the receipts. So that's why I say this is not going to be a Martin Luther King MLK bashing session. For a long time, my people, even myself, right, I would like somewhat disrespect Martin Luther King because we didn't have a lot of respect for the things he was doing and the way he was moving. We had way more respect for Malcolm, you know what I mean? But in due time, with age and maturity, I realized it ain't nothing to disrespect. His losses, his mistakes are my win. You understand what I'm saying? I told y'all, right? A smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. A smart man is going to learn from his mistakes. That's a smart man. But a wise man is going to learn from the mistakes of others. And I learned a lot from the mistakes that Martin Luther King made. I learned a lot from that. Once I realized that his mistakes were lessons in my book, I stopped disrespecting them. I stopped disrespecting him. But for a long time, I would disrespect MLK because I didn't have no respect for the way he was moving. And we're gonna talk about that as well. You feel what I'm saying? So big salute to the chat, hit the like button and all that. Let's get into this first receipt, man. I wanna play, a small portion of a speech from MLK, right? Because that's gonna lead us into, the conclusion. It's gonna lead us into his demise. It's going to lead us into that last speech where he was talking He was talking, but through these speeches, he was speaking about exactly what's happening today. What he died for is one of the reasons what's happening today is happening. The immigrants wasn't even able to come over here until we fought for that. It wasn't even no country like that. When you look at them old pictures, you don't see a lot of Japanese people. You don't see a lot of these people and Somalians and all. You don't see none of them back in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 40s, because they wasn't even allowed to come over here and do it like that. We fought for y'all to come over here thinking that y'all was the brother man, thinking that we was connected through melanin, so we would all be able to, rally together and do what we need to do. And y'all came over here and y'all smacked, y'all spit in the hand of the people that spilled blood for y'all to come over here. Y'all bit the hand that fed y'all. That's what y'all did. Respectfully. You know what? Let's stay right here. Big salute to the chat, the like button and all that. We wasn't rocking with MLK like that. We never wanted to eat your potato salad with raisins in it. We never wanted that. We never wanted your bland chicken. We had our own communities. We had our own underworld. We had our own restaurants. And there was no project. We're going to talk about that. In this day and age, there was no such thing as government assistance for black people. So the majority of everybody, for the most part, had a single family home. Either they paid for it or they built it from the ground up. There was no such thing as project builders. We wasn't living on government assistance. They hadn't really got rid of our land. Eminent domain wasn't being used in our direction yet. Eminent domain, do your research. How you think they got control? How you think they started taking eminent domain? So this is where, this is why it's nasty to me. Y'all don't never talk about this side of the civil rights movement. Y'all don't never talk about this side of Martin Luther King. There was no government assistance. There was no project buildings. We all had single family homes. We all had generational wealth. Where you think that government assistance came from? Where you think them project builders, why you think all of a sudden they start building projects for black people? Because we didn't have nowhere to go after they took that land. You know what? Go ahead and talk to the people. You know what, MLK, talk to the people, my G. Look.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. Lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over.
I want to stop right there. He said, be loyal to what you said on paper. And salute. Oh, he said, I disagree on that, though. Skin color don't matter. It's the culture that matters. It's culture that stays strong, so are the people. Well, what happens when your culture is attacked? What happens when your culture... Because, again, this is why this conversation is necessary, right? Because people like to act like we don't have culture. But in the 60s, in the 40s, in the 50s, right? Oh, we had plenty of culture. We were building Black Wall Street. We was building Rosewoods. We was building Usitica villages. We had culture. We had a nuclear black family. So what happens when the actual American government, the higher ups and the elites, aim directly at your culture and destroys it? No other, people are like, oh, it has nothing to do with skin color. It has everything to do with that. You see this melanin in my skin? You might not know what it means, but it strikes fear in certain people. It's like a lion and a gazelle. It's like when a gazelle see a lion, the lion might just be drinking some water. That gazelle is on cue. And if that gazelle can figure out any way to destroy that lion and his family so they ain't got to deal with that, that's what that gazelle is going to do. No other culture over here has gone through this type of warfare on American soil. Why you think y'all got Chinatowns, Little Hades, Little Italies? Why y'all think y'all was able to come over here and do that? How you think the Somalians was able to come over here and get those billions of dollars? Because there is no attack on your culture. You are not a threat to the establishment. They don't fear you. In the 50s and 60s, we had single family homes. We had nuclear families. We had our culture. Through intimate domain, through redlining, through lynching, through Jim Crow, through all of these different avenues that they use strategically to stop our culture, now you got what you see today. Now you got the Megan Thee Stallions and the Glorillaz. Now you got, the drill music. Now you got exactly what you see today. It took years for them to cultivate this play. So again, what make this channel powerful, right? It's going to be articulate people that got intelligence that's going to say certain things. And if you don't know the truth, it's going to sound good. It's going to feel good, and you might go with it. What I'm telling you is we had hella culture. It's a reason we did this and nobody else could do it. It's a reason why y'all come over here and y'all get right up under them people, right up under that dog fur. Y'all get to eating, y'all get to doing what y'all do. Y'all don't waste no time. Because y'all ain't a threat to the establishment. Y'all could never do what we did. It is what it is, and it'll be what's going. Oh, you guys don't have any culture. Oh, we had plenty of culture. We had plenty of culture. Why you think they started burning down our cities and our towns? Why you think they started running running highways right through our neighborhoods? Why you think they started doing that? Why you think Lake Lanier is now a lake? Yeah, that was a whole town, a whole city where we owned the grocery stores, we owned the schools, we owned the theaters, we owned the downtown, we owned the court buildings, we owned everything. Right? And now it's a lake where they jet ski on. Oh, the culture. Hey, bro, you gotta, yeah. Oh, if the culture stays strong, a culture can only stay strong. It's a war. We owned it all, the hospitals, the banks, all of that. It's always them people that's gonna say, well, no, man, you guys, if the culture stays strong, it's not about black. No, it's about everything you saying it's not. I'm saying that. I'm the one telling you. They always gonna say, it's not about race, man. It's never about that. Yes, it is. It always been about that. It's not about black or white, man. It's not about skin color. It always been about that. Always. Go ahead and talk to the people, MLK. Salute to the chat. Hit the like button and all that. Look. Hey, Joe, you can take that out for me?
But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
The right to protest far right. The right to protest. You see what nobody was moving like this until we made it real. Now y'all out there protesting. Now y'all out there saying, oh, no justice, no peace, no racism. Yeah, that's what y'all doing. Off the backs of my people. The same people you look down on, the same people you try to side play, you try to downplay. Okay, so I again, with knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is infinite. It never stops. So the more knowledge I gained on this, the more respect I did gain for Martin Luther King. What Martin Luther King didn't understand is that the higher ups and elites play chess at the highest level. They always 10 steps ahead. They always playing you to the double cross so you don't see the triple cross. And back in those days, I can't be totally mad at Martin Luther King for falling in a trap. He didn't have the tools I got. He didn't have this technology. He didn't have the wherewithal to be able to see what was coming. He couldn't see the plays being ran. He didn't have this, That's why I give him the respect I give him, because regardless if he had this or not, he jumped out there. Yeah, he jumped out there. Yeah, I said Lake Lanier too, bro. Yeah, Lake Lanier. South Carolina, North Carolina. Very vibrant black city, black town that they burned down and turned it to a lake, flooded that shit. It's still, the houses and everything is under the lake. It's called Lake Lanier. Look it up. Do your research. All the houses and the schools and the churches we had built, that shit is still there. They didn't even get rid of it. They just flooded it. He still jumped out there. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of these rappers. I ain't gonna lie. I'll give y'all some context. It's almost like how I feel about J. Cole, right? It's like you don't know what's going on, but you feel and you get the downloads and you want to do this. And then you jump out there and you realize this shit it's a dirty game. It's nasty work. It's diabolical. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that Martin Luther King jumped out there and still did what he did, he got caught up in the mix. We're gonna talk about that. We about to go deeper into that, but he got caught up in the mix. But you know, I won't disrespect his name because what he did, the groundwork he laid, you got a grown man business TV. The groundwork he laid, homie, trust me, you do get a Nip Hustle and a few other people out of that blueprint. For real, it is what it is. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's talking to what's happening right now. Go ahead and talk to the people, MLK.
So just as I say, we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now.
He said, like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Again, right? You don't ever waste words. Every word means something. We've been conditioned to waste words. We hear a bunch of shit. We don't comprehend it all. You know what I'm saying? We take bits and pieces of it. We piece it together. And we take what we want from. When you don't waste words, you can hear it right there. I would like to live. That's letting you know he had already started getting the downloads. I seen the mountaintops. I looked over. That was the download saying, you're not going into the promised land. That was the downloads telling him in this speech, they tricked you. They got you. It's almost checkmate. This the part they don't like. Oh, MLK Day, it's a federal holiday. Okay. Think about that. Smoked them and then gave them a federal holiday. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it get real. Okay, so talk to the people, MLK. I'm doing the due diligence for you. R.I.P. to Martin Luther King. I'm doing the work. You did spark the seed. You did spark the brain. You did that. Salute to MLK. Talk to the people.
I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Give me the chills, right? Because you know, remind me of Tupac. Like the way he talk is the way Tupac used to rap to me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's why Tupac was so powerful, because it wasn't necessarily the lyrical wordplay of Tupac. It was more of that deep reverence for his people. Oh, my eyes have seen the glory. Like that reverence. That's something you can't stop. That's something you can't really kill. You got to understand, right? As he's delivering this speech, he understands how he's been trapped. Martin Luther King was touring America. He was touring America. He was going to different cities, and he was delivering these speeches. And it got to a point from us funding him and him delivering our narrative and our perspective and our propaganda for the black community. And it had gotten to the point where the government was funding him. The government was giving him, you know what I'm saying? They was giving him, you know, ideas, and they was giving him, you know, quote points, and they was telling them to say this and throw this in there and throw that in there and make sure you don't talk about this and make sure you don't say that, because it might cause a riot. It might incite the people. At this present moment, this is where he was at. He was touring America. He was getting into these different cities, and there was a whole bunch of white women at these hotels waiting for him. Him and his homies, all his homies, they was like superstars. They was like rock stars. They was like rappers. You see what I'm saying? So you Martin Luther King Jr., you got 8 of your homies with you. Y'all done got into town. Y'all go up to the, you know what I mean, to the Hilton Hotel and all that. And in the lobby, it's a whole bunch of them. It's a whole bunch of, it's a whole bunch of women there. Particularly like white women. And they go up in the room and they partying. And that's one of the disdains I had for Martin Luther King when I learned about that. That's one of the ways they trapped him. That's one of the ways they forced him into position. By planting these prostitutes, by planting these women in his vicinity, knowing he got a wife, and he biting the bait. He not being disciplined enough to look past that. He not being disciplined enough he was a young man for sure, but you know, he had Coretta at the house. He had Coretta Scott King, you know, waiting for him at the crib, and he was out there, and they was partying, and they was being recorded. They you know, you got the FBI, the CIA, you got all of these government agencies across the room and in the other room, and they bugged the room. You know, his room, they got it's wired up. So at this present moment, they had already ran that past MLK. Yo, listen to this. Oh, you remember that night right there when you was out there in Memphis? Oh, yo, when y'all was in Houston, y'all had a good time. Look at this. Listen to this. If you don't do what we tell you to do, we gonna tell your wife. I don't think Coretta is gonna like. That's how they got him in the position. When I learned that a long time ago, that's one of the things that deterred me from the dog fur anyway. You know, it was other things as well, but those was one of the, I'm not with none of that. I would never be that guy that you be able to knock out a position just because you got some white women around. You know what I mean? I just ain't with it. You know what I mean? I need mine all black. I like it black, like locks, cornrow, nigga shit. I don't want nothing else. This was one of the reasons when I learned this as a young man, that they had played him out of position, having him partying and engaging. Okay? Now, this is why you got to understand something. He's making the decision. He's saying, you know what? They got me. They got me. They got me recorded. You feel me? They got me on tape. They got me on goddamn candid camera. My wife probably gonna find out about this shit. It ain't no turning back now. Yeah, it ain't no turning back. You either you gotta commit. That's what he telling himself. Either I'm a bend, break, and fold and still probably end up assassinated, or I'm gonna start bucking the system and get assassinated. That was the start of that. That was the start of that. This what they don't really like to tell the people. It had went from Black nuclear families. We funded Martin Luther King. So if we ain't got no culture, what you call that? If we ain't got no culture, we just was it was never that. And I always tell you this. It's over 800 people in the chat. Hit the like button and all that. Don't even for respectfully, man. You know what I'm saying? I just looked up. It's over 800 people in the chat. I ain't even, come on, hey, get the likes up. Yeah. Oh, it's Martin Luther King Day. It's a federal holiday. Yeah, John F. Kennedy. It's a lot of people they smoked and gave them holiday. That's diabolical. Yeah, that's that diabolical dog fur right there. Trust what I'm telling you. They'll smoke you and then praise you and then give your ass a holiday. Yeah. Make everybody remember. Yeah, you remember. Nasty work how they did. You know, when I tell y'all to pay attention to the triple cross, don't fall for the double cross. This is one of the reasons. The double cross. What's your weakness? You don't got discipline. You lack patience. Right? You not married. You not committed to nothing. You don't really love nothing. You got an old lady. You got a girlfriend that love you, but you don't really love nothing. So all we got to do is put a couple of bitches in your path right here. Put a couple of females in your vicinity, and you'll end up upstairs butt ass naked, and we can record you. We got all we need. Cause you lack discipline. Cause you don't really love nothing. Smart men learn from their own mistakes. Wise men learn from the mistakes of others. Smart women, they learn from their own mistakes. Wise women learn from the mistakes of others. So when I seen that, I knew I would never be him in that aspect, ever. You ain't gonna shed that dog from me. Hell no, I don't want it nowhere near me. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like how it smells. I don't like, no. It ain't gonna happen. Yeah, you can't put that shit on me. Won't happen. Okay? Big salute to the chat. Yeah, man, get deep. It get real deep because they never talk about our culture. You know what I'm saying? It's right in front of you. Simple math like this, like I said, right? Government assistance, government project buildings. When did these things start to erect in America? When was these buildings erected on American soil? Anytime behind that, we was building houses. Down in the South, we was building houses from the ground up, nigga. Your great-great-grandfather and them, they was building houses. It was a nuclear family. It was no such thing as government assistance. That shit was created for white people. We just end up, y'all don't even know the history. Government assistance, food stamps, projects and shit was all created to help white people. We wasn't even privy to those benefits. We couldn't even get them shits. And we still was building family homes. We still was having God, man, woman, and child. We still was doing this. Now, I'm going to go into this next receipt, right? But this is just context on why you got to destroy that. This is more context on why we are where we are right now. Why you see all, oh, it's nothing about that. It's all about culture. You guys, blah, blah. Nah. You ain't been here long enough to really know, because before we started marching on Washington, before we had the civil rights movements, your ancestors wasn't even over here. You motherfuckers was in Romania, you was in Greece, your ass was in Spain, your ass was in Iran, your ass was in Russia, you was in China, you was in Europe, England. You before we started marching and doing the whole civil rights movement for us, y'all ain't have nothing to piggyback off. Them people wasn't even allowing y'all over here. So y'all, when y'all talk about if we got culture or not, what you got to understand is y'all ain't even 3 generations strong over here. Y'all ain't even 4 generations strong on American soil. That's why they starting to ask y'all what, yeah. You know, they start to ask y'all what kind of white. What kind of white are you? Greenland, France, Europe, they starting to ask y'all that. Big salute to the chat, man. Well over 600 in here. Hit the like button and all that. Let me show you. Let me show you something. We went from this right here, look, to this. See that? See that right there? We went from this to this. Absolutely nasty word. Disgusting if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? The beautiful thing is, again, you can't kill this. This shit is like the greatest computer right here. You know what I'm saying? It's melanin. You can't kill the information. You could never erase this. You could never, it don't matter if y'all teaching in schools or not. It don't matter if y'all teaching in schools or not, because my kids gonna know about it anyway. So what do it really matter? We don't respect y'all. We don't really expect y'all to teach it in school. Y'all still teaching these babies about Christopher Columbus, a mass murderer, a psychopath. Yeah, that motherfucker was a psychopath, a degenerate. And y'all teaching y'all babies about these people. So we don't expect nothing more. We don't really, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you not teaching the kids about this history, because I know y'all gonna sugarcoat it anyway. Y'all gonna step on the content. I'd rather give it to my babies raw. I'd rather let them know. So you think my son not gonna know? You think he not gonna know? Respectfully. All right, go. I want to play this. This is gonna be the last receipt. Now I want y'all to listen to Martin Luther King. This is the last speech. And it's not even a speech, it's like an interview. But this is where he has finally made the decision to stand on business. He has finally made the decision that Malcolm X was right, that he made a mistake, that he has been tricked out of position, and there's nothing he could do about it. And again, a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So when you listen to this right here, when I listened to it, I gained a lot of information. It was very informative. Okay, sadly for him, he was already in too deep with the higher ups. Them people was on him. They was already planning. They damn near wanted to smoke him in his church. They probably didn't touch him because his ass was in his church right here. You know what I'm saying? They said, we can't touch your ass behind them. Yeah, them stained glasses and all that. We catch your ass at that hotel where you're knocking off. Yeah, you know what you was doing at that hotel with Jesse Jackson and all. And yeah. You, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpner, your ass is standing out there on the balcony after a long night of popping pussy. Yeah. Yeah, we can smoke his ass. Okay, go ahead and get him. We ain't gonna touch you in the church though. But when we get you out there at that hotel, we know what y'all were doing in them hotels. Where was Coretta? Right? That's how they got him. That's how they got him. Smooth criminal. Yeah. Smoked his boots. You, Al Sharpner, Jesse Jackson. Y'all motherfuckers were moving around like y'all was goddamn the Wu-Tang Clan. You motherfuckers thought y'all was Rockefeller Records. That's how they got him. Fame and fortune. Fame and fortune made him lose and forget the real message. Fame and fortune. Little bit of wolf pussy and you forgot all about what's supposed. You know what? Go ahead and talk to the people. I want you to listen to them. Listen, look.
Things are absolutely necessary. The other thing is that America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land. Okay, nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves up rather than acting in good faith for the realization of genuine equality.
Now I want to stop right there. Y'all remember when y'all remember when I told y'all about the free range cows, out there in Wyoming, the Midwest, out in the West, right? When I drive trucks through there, I will see these cows just roaming around, right? And I told y'all about how that land was claimed, right? Y'all remember that. This is the land he was talking about when he says they freed the slaves and didn't give them no land, right? But they was willing to give the white peasants from Europe hundreds of thousands of acres of land. Just you know, I forgot the name of it. But I told y'all out there in Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, the Midwest, all that, there was a president. Put it in the chat if you know, you remember what I'm talking about. It was a time where all that land hadn't been claimed yet. And all you had to do was go out there and fence off as much land as you wanted, and you can claim it. And the government will give you a deed for it. So those ranches, they have, you know, 1,000-acre farms out there, thousands of acres, hundreds of acres, 800, 1,200 acres of farm where these cows just free range. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of the name of it. But they didn't, again, we didn't have access to that information. When they came out and they said, yo, go out there, whatever land that you stake is yours, and the government will give you the deed. That now, now we got, generations, a couple of generations down, it's a motherfucker that got a farm with 8 Homestead Act. There you go, Mr. Universe. You already know that's why I gave you a wrench. Solid shooter. The Homestead Act. Do your research. I had said all this. I just couldn't think of it just now. But yeah, the Homestead Act. Go out there and it as much land as you can fence off is yours. So what happened was we marching, right? We fighting for civil rights. We fighting for certain things. And they give us integration. They change the whole narrative to about us wanting to be integrated in these schools, and we want to go to school with these people, and we want to live with these people, and we want to be in the same community. When that was not the message when we first started funding Martin Luther King, right? And then, but behind his back, right, he did all what he was supposed to do for the government. He started playing his position. They got him in a chokehold, and they saying, you know what? After this is all said and done, we're gonna make sure y'all get what y'all deserve. If it's reparations, if it's land, 40 acres in them, we're gonna give y'all something. After it was all said and done, they didn't give Martin Luther King nothing. After all the marching, after all the money made, after all the news and all the content they created off this civil rights movement, when it was all said and done, they turned around and gave all that land to the Homestead Act that we had no part of. Motherfucker, all you had to do was go out there to Wyoming, North Dakota, South Oklahoma, whatever, right? Buy up $200 worth of fencing. And you could fence off 300 acres of land. And as long as you fenced it off and you claim it and you send it to the motherfucker, was sending deeds to these motherfuckers were getting deeds to land 300-400 acres, 800 acres, 1,200 acres. That's still in their families right now. When Martin Luther King realized that, that's when this speech came out right here. That's when he went totally rogue. He went right on live television. It was CNN. It was CBS and no NBC. My bad. I'm sorry. And this what he said on NBC live television. This when it was checkmate. This when they knew, you know what? We got to give him that business. We got to stop him because now he's going rogue. Now we can't. He ain't supposed to be talking about that. The Homestead Act. Why am I doing all this? Because I respect the federal holiday. I do. But I like the other side of the story. You know, I'm the dude that like the other side. I like the other side of the pillow. It's cooler on that side. You feel what I'm saying? I don't really like the stepped on part of it. I like the real, grungy part. I like the grimy part. I like the part that they don't like to talk about. This part right here. Yeah, the Homestead Act blew my mind when I learned about it. Imagine if my great-great-grandfather would have knew about that. I'm sure him and his homies would have went out there to Wyoming or wherever and roped off about 2,000-3,000 acres of land and told them this is our land, we keeping it in the family and all that. You think I didn't want to be a farmer? I would have loved to be a farmer. Yeah, my grandpa, so the Homestead Act, and he got this land back in the day. It was about 800 acres, and we got cows and cattle and stuff. You think I wouldn't have, shit. Yeah, I like stuff like that. The majority of the farms in America came from stuff like that, from literally taking the land from black Negro farmers or the Homestead Act or eminent domain. So when you get in the chat and you get to talk about, oh, it's the culture. Nah, it's deeper than the culture. Ain't no culture standing up against a war like that. Ain't no culture. If it was a war like that against Chinese people, there wouldn't be a Chinatown in New York. Trust me. Those buildings would belong to somebody else. Y'all just never had to. Y'all got to come in and piggyback off the back of men like Martin Luther King. So this the part I like to talk about for all the immigrants and even a lot of white people. You guys are like immigrants. White is a construct. It's some shit they made up. It's no such thing. I'm not black. My skin is copper colored. I'm copper colored. I'm melanated. There's no, it ain't a white person that's really white. Their skin is not white. You from Europe. You're from France. You're from Europe. Your family is from Greenland, Iceland, the Caucasus Mountains, Russia. Venezuela, Argentina. You get what I'm saying? So y'all, a lot of y'all rolled off the piggyback. Germany, yeah, y'all came off of the blood of this man. That's what y'all don't talk about. Y'all celebrate this man when he was assassinated by the very people that the very people that gave him this holiday is the people that put a bullet in his goddamn face. Yeah, come on, man. Respectfully. All right. Like I said, I ain't got that long with y'all. I got some business to handle. I gotta be in the truck later tonight. I'm gonna be gone for the week, man. Cross the state lines at all times. But I want to close with this, right? Big salute to the chat. Big salute to everybody that's in tune. Let me see where we at. All right. Okay, yeah, this is good money. It's a good look. Stay a few more minutes with y'all. Let my man talk for a few more minutes. I think I was going to let him talk for a few more minutes. Big salute to Martin Luther King. R.I.P. to MLK, man. Nasty work what they did to him. Let's see what we see something.
Logically, theoretically, scientific. So I think these things are absolutely necessary. The other thing is that America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so
I just want to stop MLK too right there. Like, again, I understand that back in the days, like he didn't have full access. You know what I'm saying? We blessed, man. Us with this access and this technology, It's a blessing. So even when he said like the black people, the African peasants that came over here, you know, that was like false right there. You know what I mean? That was like knowledge that was fed to him by the people. You know what I'm saying? They had him believing that we was all from Africa. You know what I mean? And then it get deep and it get wicked when you say that. Because now that connects us to some people that really ain't connected to us. That connects us to some people that really can now, eat off the backs of what we got going on and ride the wave of this civil rights situation that was for black people. The same way they doing right now with the Black Panthers. You understand? They eradicated the Black Panthers. You know that, right? This shit ain't, what I'm saying? Oh, we're like the Black Panthers from back in the day. No, you're not. You know what they did to the Black Panthers? They assassinated them, murdered Fred Hampton. They was murdering them boys. Cold-blooded murder. Cold-blooded, nigga. Running up in their house and shit, smoking them. 22, 24 years old. So again, we create these anomalies. We create these movements, these powerful movements, and then everybody just bite pieces of it and get to ride the wave of it, but they don't gotta spill blood for it. That's why America is in the position that it's in, because the foundation is broke. You build a house on a bad foundation, I don't care how pretty the house is, it's gonna fall, homie. It's gonna crumble. I don't give a damn how expensive or big the house is. If it's a crack in the foundation, it's over. It all starts with the foundation. The economic base, exactly. The economic base. Imagine if they would have made sure we had that economic base. Imagine where America would be right now. Where black people had the economic base we were supposed to have. We would be way stronger right now. It wouldn't be all this turmoil in the world. But when you looking from the outside looking in and you saying that house got a bad foundation, homie, all we got to do is wait. The house going to fall over. We ain't even got to go to war. We ain't got to invade this house. The shit going to fall over. We ain't got to bulldoze this house. We ain't got to dynamite this house. We ain't got to touch it. Just give it a couple of years and that shit going to fall. That's what y'all don't understand. Y'all don't want us to have reparations. Y'all didn't want us to have black communities. Y'all burned down the communities. Y'all used intimate domain. Y'all did all this shit, right? All these black communities thriving. That would have provided an economic base for America. What you think Black Wall Street was gonna do when that shit really reached its full potential? How much money you think Black Wall Street would have generated for the American government? Lake Lanier, right there in Georgia, right off the coast. What you think that would have did? Usitica Village. That is the Central Park was called Usitica Village. That was a black community. That's some of the richest and most wealthiest real estate in America, which was stolen from black people. Like, bro, imagine what kind of metropolis this country would be if they would have let those situations flourish. Imagine how rich everybody would be if they gave black people reparations, being as though we spend the most. We generate trillions of dollars a year, just my people. Yeah, Rosewood, that's Florida. Rosewood was in Florida. Imagine if they would have let that turn to what it was supposed to be right there in Florida. Florida is in a deficit right now. You know what's going on in Florida? It's a whole situation because spring break and nobody's flying to Florida. Because none of these people want to spend all their money with a whole bunch of racist ass motherfuckers on the beach and a whole bunch of racist ass motherfuckers around. So now everybody's going to Houston and they going to other places. And now the tourism in Florida is at a deficit. And when you watch the news, guess what? We're losing so much money. Our businesses are just crumbling. Nobody came. Yeah, why the fuck would they be trying to come down here spending all that extra money, that inflated money, and y'all don't even want people down there? It's like you bite your nose to spite your face. You cut off your nose just to spite your face. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's pure. It's diabolical. So this shit is happening it's been happening for all these years, and you can't make this shit right. If you would just give all black people $5 million, just give every black person $5 million. Do you know how we would stimulate the economy? Do you know this shit would be, it would be like gold. The streets would be paved to gold. Give all black people $5 million. 80% of them, they're gonna spend that shit in the next 4 years. It'll be spent up. Y'all, everybody will have some money. The problem is they scared of that 20% that's gonna create generational wealth. See, 80% is gonna go buy Lamborghinis and they're gonna go buy Gucci and they gonna buy this and they gonna buy that and we gonna stimulate the economy. It'll be money in the streets. But it's 20% that's gonna buy up a bunch of fucking land, a bunch of property. It's gonna be 20% that'll fuck around and pool their money together and buy a damn near estate. We'll fuck around and buy North Dakota. Yeah. We'll fuck around and put our money together and buy Greenland. You know, Trump, he trying to buy Greenland and all that. We be done put our reparations together, went over there, bought Greenland, and we beat on all went to Greenland and built that shit and did what we wanted to do over there. So that's why they fight it. They know that 20 to 25% of us is smart enough to know what to do with that money. They so silly though, they don't even recognize that 80% of us is gonna give it back. We gonna spend money with goddamn Walmart, Target, American Eagle, Gucci, Finley, Prada. We gonna buy some Rolexes. Yeah, we gonna go buy some veneers. We gonna spend money with all you motherfuckers. All you motherfuckers to get some millions. The next 2 years, you motherfuckers will be make the most money you ever made in your life. Yeah, we gonna go to the beauty store because we got to get the weave. You know, bitch, you got to get yaki. We gonna spend money with Indian Remy. We gonna buy yaki weave. We gonna buy pink lotion. We gonna buy sporting waves. We gonna buy, yeah. Shit, nigga, I've been wanting a Porsche 911 my whole life. You think I ain't going to Porsche? I'm gonna order a 911. 2-door coupe, let me decorate it. Would you like me to decorate it? I would like to decorate it. Yeah, I wanna put a couple. I want that motherfucker to be. Yeah, I want the Balenciaga red inside that motherfucker. Yeah, we gonna buy a whole bunch of reefer. The dispensary. Yeah. You think I ain't about to invest in grown man business cannabis? Yeah, LLC. We gonna buy up the dope, the damn. Yeah, we gonna spend money with everybody. How you think why you think the economy crashing? Cause y'all ain't gave us the money yet. Oh, we will stimulate it. But see, they so racist, they would cut their nose off the spot. We're not giving these guys any goddamn money. Why would we do that? We're not going to give your ass reparations. You're just going to spend it all. Well, that's the goddamn point of it, ain't it? Stimulate the economy. Yeah, you rather watch this motherfucker crash. All you motherfucker, everybody, bro. Motherfucker crying and bro. Respectfully. But you know what? That 25%, that 20%, oh, we real smart. We went over there and bought New Mexico. Yeah, went over there, bought New Mexico, told you we gonna change the name to Black Wall Street 2.0. This is no longer New Mexico because y'all don't want it. Y'all don't want to live in New Mexico. Your ass everywhere. You're trying to come to Florida. You want to go to New York City. You got a whole goddamn state called New Mexico where you could go and create a New Mexico life for yourself. Well, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, you know what? How about this? We gonna take up 20% of us. We done bought New Mexico. Oh, you motherfucker gotta get up out of here. Everybody, we evicting everybody. This is Black City. You can't come in unless we let you in. See? That's what they scared of. That's why they don't want to economic base for, because yeah, Black Wall Street would have started merging in with Rosewood, and Rosewood would have started merging in with Lake Lanier, and then Lake Lanier we would have started connecting with Utica Village out there in New York, and now all of a sudden we got a fucking conglomerate. We got 4, 5, 6 different black cities all rubbing shoulders together. Oh, that's something you don't want that. You don't want. Yeah, and we won't let you come in and infiltrate. We done learned from Martin Luther King. So you got to keep that dog fur out the city limits. If your ass got dog fur, then we ain't going to let you cross the city limits. You can't come in here. We checking your ass at the border. We going to check you at the goddamn state border, if you don't mind. Oh, we not going to let this happen again. We saw what you did to MLK. We saw how you infiltrated these basketball players, LeBron James, all of these goddamn. You're sending that dog fur around here. Respectfully. See, they didn't want that. Okay? I learned a lot from Martin Luther King. I learned a lot from Malcolm X as well. It's a reason why Malcolm X don't got a federal. Where's Malcolm X federal holiday? Huh? Y'all don't want us to celebrate by any means necessary? Yeah, y'all don't want us to see. Y'all want us to keep talking about, I had a dream that white and blah. Yeah, you want us to keep talking that I had a nigga. We ain't dream. We woke now. We ain't dreaming no more. This ain't a motherfucking dream, bruh. Respectfully. We ain't dream. This ain't no goddamn dream. But you keep every year you wanna, I had a dream that. Hey man, respectfully. We rather start talking about by any means necessary. How about that? How about that part? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We did over 1 million views this month. You think I ain't gonna talk like this while over 1 million people is paying attention? Yeah, I'm not talking about gangster will. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about this. Yeah, I want to talk about the land and all that. The Homestead Act. You think y'all ain't gonna pay for that? All that fucking land you stole? Look, talk to the people, MLK. Look.
Emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps, but it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
Apart from wanting to live better, which all of us want to do, to raise one's children in a better way, to be better, does the Negro in America know what he wants to be?
I'm convinced that almost every Negro in this country, other than those who have been so scarred by the system that they've become pathological in the process, and we all have to battle with pathology. Nobody really knows what it means to be a Negro unless one can really experience it. And I know we all have to battle with this constant drain of a feeling of nobodiness. But in spite of this, I think the vast majority of Negroes in this country know that they want to be people, they want to be men, they want equality, period. It just boils down to that. And we haven't been able to be people. We haven't been men because of all of the conditions that we've lived with and the syndrome of deprivation surrounding conditions, whether it's in housing, in the economic area, or in schools, or in the vicious credit practices that we face in the ghetto, and all of the problems of closed doors and constant defeats. But in spite of all this, I think we all know, basically, that
if you feel like your brain craves pleasure just as much.
Big salute to MLK, man. R.I.P. to that man. You know, I might let a little bit of that receipt play, but I just want to say this: R.I.P. to MLK, man. They had a big parade out here today. That's what kind of made the download start to download. I wasn't even planning on talking about this situation, but I went to go get some coffee, and the people that make my coffee was like, "Yo, you know, it's so crazy because I go places and people be like, yo, it's to the point where, you know, people will recognize you just randomly, you know what I'm saying, with this YouTube thing. And the people that make my coffee, they all in tune with the channel. Maybe y'all in here right now, salute to y'all. And it was like, yo, you didn't go to the MLK parade? And I was like, MLK parade? Like, yo, they had this big ass MLK parade downtown, boats, like floats, like a whole thing, right? And I was kind of like just thrown off by it because where I'm at, I didn't think I wouldn't even have thought that they would have had an MLK. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the businesses where I'm at, they don't close on days like this. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know that, but they were showing me like pictures and stuff and telling me about it. And I was like kind of thrown by it. Like, damn, you know what I mean? Like all those people, they celebrate Martin Luther King today. You know what I'm saying? It kind of like just made me think a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I wouldn't even have thought about that. But it also made me think about the other side of it. You know, like when we celebrate dudes like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, when we talk about like Black history, it's like a deep side to it that nobody really elaborates on. And if you don't elaborate on those angles, right, then it becomes confusing. It leads a open lane for people to say, oh well, it's not about this, or it's nobody likes to talk about. When you get into the realness of it, then you understand, oh, that's why MLK was talking like that. Oh, that's why they assassinate him. That's why he got shot in the face. Not because of what? Because he was putting a light on the fact that, you know, the Homestead Act. He was putting a light on the fact that, you know, everybody had their hands in the pot. He was shining a light on that shit. And he was changing. Soon as you start changing, respectfully, Charlie Kirk. I didn't agree with majority of what Charlie Kirk was saying. Almost none of it. You know what I'm saying? Really, it was maybe 5% of what he was talking about I could agree with. The stuff he was saying about Israel, I agree with that. Everything else I really didn't agree with. As soon as he started leaning against that, yeah. Soon as he started veering off the path just a little bit, pow! Don't y'all see the resemblance in Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King? JFK? Y'all don't see the same Hail Mary play being ran over? They smack your ass with a rifle from some random person up in the damn tree somewhere, and some random person across the bed, pow, smoke you. We goddamn look at motherfucker, some weird ass person. Oh, he was a homosexual man and he had a boyfriend and blah, 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 and nobody knew. And we didn't check the tops and nobody checked. There was no security. And you don't see how it's the same thing over and over again. Respectfully, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, if we make them this way, if we paint the narrative that this shooter has these type of issues, then the American people will demonize him and game over, checkmate. Yeah, it don't matter what happened, the bullet already hit your ass. You out here, game over. Yeah, once that bullet hit your ass in the face, hit you in the neck, right? Now all we got to do is demonize the shooter. You know, he was a trans, they'll put any title on you, and then they make people look at you, they assassinate your character, and now everybody gets swept under the rug. We ain't heard one thing about the rifleman that killed Charlie Kirk. When the last time you heard anything about the rifleman who smoked Charlie Kirk? We don't know where you at. We ain't heard a guy that we don't know what jail you at. We don't know when is your damn court date. Are you going to trial? Are you gonna cop out? Do you got a lawyer? But we can smoke that man. We ain't heard a word. We ain't heard a peep. Nobody don't know nothing. I don't check the news, man. It's over there. Once that bullet hits you, all right. Now the crazy thing with MLK, and I'm gonna close with this. After this speech right here, and he said what he said, and he said he led his people into a burning house, and he wanted to expose he wanted to expose the higher ups and elites. He got hit on that balcony. Headshot. Pow! Right to his face. Right? The amazing thing with MLK is we all know he didn't die from that bullet. He actually lived. He actually lived. He got to the hospital. He was alive and well. He died from asphyxiation. He died from suffocation. Imagine how powerful Martin Luther King would have been if taking that face shot, he don't die. Now he get to fucking around with Malcolm X and all that. You remember how big 50 Cent was when we found out he got shot in the face? He took 9 bullets. Imagine if Martin Luther King got shot in the face with a rifle. And now he about to do a speech in 6 months. It might have been 2 million people out there. I had a dream, and I don't give a goddamn now. I'm ready. They shot me in the face, but I still live. I'm still here. By any means necessary is now the new quote. We're not talking about non-violence. We're talking about all violence. We want all the smoke. We want all the violence. Don't talk to me about non-violence anymore. You shot me in the face. And God damn it, I want war. All violence. I call out across the Americas. Imagine that shit. Imagine MLK saying some. We would have burnt this month. We would have burnt this shit down, brother. Every piece of it, from east to west, nigga. All violence. We're no longer preaching non-violence no more. With a big ass bullet hole shit on his face like 50 Cent. Shit. What? That's why he couldn't have made it out. They got to that hospital. They say, hey, man, look, he's still alive, man. He gonna make it. Yeah, the bullet went in, hit his wisdom tooth, went out his cheek, just like 50 Cent. The bullet hit your wisdom tooth. Let me tell you something. Your wisdom tooth will stop a bullet, man. Yeah, it'll redirect that motherfucker. It'll knock you. Better get it. A lot of y'all still got your wisdom tooth in your mouth. You got to get your wisdom teeth taken out, brother. Respectfully, a lot of you motherfuckers in the chat that you still got your wisdom teeth. Your ass too old to have wisdom teeth. You gotta go to the dentist, man. Respectfully, man. I just want to be straight up with you, man. Your wisdom tooth could redirect the bullet. That motherfucker this big, man. In your mouth right here is this big, man. Yeah, man, we got him in here. Y'all, no, they got him, but he ain't gonna die. He the bullet hit his wisdom tooth, went out the back. He's alive and well. Get rid of him. How you want me to? I don't give a goddamn how you do it. Get a pillow. You got pillows in there? Use a pillow. The motherfucker went in that bitch. Hey, man, close the door. R.I.P. to Martin Luther King, man. Yeah, the motherfucker, use a pillow, goddammit. And he used it, motherfucker. Hey, man, give me that pillow real quick. R.I.P. to Martin Luther King, man. He would have been a force to be reckoned with if he would have made it out that hospital. I think about that sometimes. I had a dream, but goddammit, I woke up. They shot me in the face. All war. Don't talk to me about nonviolence. It's all violence. All violence. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpner. We want violence. All right, my bad. Respect. Salute to R.P. to Martin Luther King. I ain't trying to be funny. I'm just saying, man, that shit would have been real gangster. You know what I mean? You think that was you thought 50 Cent was gangster? That shit would have been some gangster. Yeah, we would have burnt this motherfucker down. You think the Watts riots was big? You think the Chicago riots? We would have burnt this motherfucker. If he would have lived, we would have burnt this motherfucker to the ground. All right, so big salute to the chat, man. I got to get ready. I got everything lined up. I should be leaving out in an hour or so. I want to say this because I had a lot of people in the DM asking about it. Yeah, the we locked in with the endorsements, right? But everything is a process. Always remember that. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing is gonna happen right then and there. So, I got the CDL license. I got experience on the road. I doubled back. I grabbed some more endorsements. And now what I have to do is see what I have options. I have more options now. So now I just got to weigh out my options. In the between time of weighing out my options, we're going to go to work, man. Yeah, still got bills to pay. Still got a goddamn house to run. You understand what I'm saying? This is a part of it. This is how it works. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a journey. It's a journey. And like I told y'all yesterday, you know what I'm saying? You want to be open to feel all emotions. You know what I'm saying? Anxiety, nervousness, you know what I'm saying? Happiness, mad, all of these different emotions and feelings. You want to be open to feeling them. It's a blessing to be able to feel them. It's a blessing to be able to be vigilant and be aware and be present enough to engage in these feelings. Like I told y'all last night, imagine how many dead people wish they could come back and be nervous and shit. Imagine how a dead motherfucker give anything. They'll be a bum. If my God said, listen, I'm gonna send you back down there, I'm gonna send you out there, everything going good, but you're gonna have to be a bum first. And then you got to find your way, but you're gonna be homeless. I'm gonna put you in the street. You're gonna be in New York City. Yeah, it's gonna be living in the car. You're gonna be a bum. They will jump at that opportunity to live and be a bum and get it out the mud. They not even gonna think twice. So the fact that we all here, over 400 people in the chat right now, the fact that my family, whoever get to rub shoulders with me, whoever's blessed enough to be in my presence, the fact that we got this right now, right here, right now. Everything worked out in the whole cosmos in the universe for us to all be right here, right now, present in whatever we got going on in our life. That's a blessing. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna be going. I'll probably come back this weekend for sure. Then we going, I'm sure I'll be, listen. I'm sure from now to Friday, there will be some content. Everybody will be in my, GMB, we need you, and I'll be back. I might go live depending on what happens. Maybe I go live over the road. Sometimes I do that if the content is necessary. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all been getting a lot of me because I've been home for the whole week because I had to go get my endorsements and I had to study. And me being home for the whole week showed me that damn near 2 million people have been engaging with the channel. Well over 1 million, a little under 2 million. So that's kind of showing me as well that we got some. I mean, I already know that, but I know that I got something powerful over here. And once I get this music done and I get a few more chess pieces put in the right position, we're going to do what we got to do. We're going to make it right. We're going to really take this thing to the next level with 60,000 subscribers. Big salute to the chat. Yeah, organically. Everything is organically. I feel, you know what I mean? Charlie P, for sure. You know what I mean? Everybody want that instant gratification, but it's going to take a little work. The work, is necessary. It's a blessing to be able to put in the work. It's a blessing to be able to get those downloads, get those ideas, plant those seeds, and then actually start walking towards it. That's the blessing. Yeah, that's the blessing. The journey is a big part of the blessing. Let's not forget the journey. You know what I'm saying? You start something, right? You remember when you thought of something and you said, I'm going to do this. And then you remember when you do it. Oh, I graduated. I said I was going to go to college and I graduated. But you want to forget about all those late nights when you was having to do book reports, all those late nights and early mornings when you had to do tests and you had to do this and you had to do things you didn't want to do. You kind of forget about the journey. You remember when you went to college and you remember when you graduated. But the in-between part, you kind of start forget. That's one of the most important parts right there. Big salute to the chat, man. Y'all already know how I do. Charlie P, Breezy Santana, Trooper 69. I see you in here, man. Big salute to you, my G. I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Hope everything is going well. Yeah, we working, we grinding, we growing this channel. Salute to the homie Harlem legend, man. China Brim, Haas, Zippy. A. Damn, where my boy JP at? Hey, Joseph Perez, you said Zippy was trying to change his ways, man. What you? I don't know if you responded to that, but if you want to chat, you can tell me what you mean. Truth be told, 100%. The journey is most important. I remember when I first started doing YouTube, people was telling me, don't do it. Yo, I seen you on YouTube. Woo, woo, woo. I remember having 100 subscribers. I remember having 80 subscribers. I remember getting my first 1,000 subscribers. Now we almost at 60,000 subscribers. You feel me? We'll be at 100K in no time. And, you hit 100,000. All I'm going to remember and all I'm going to think about is the late night, early mornings going live with the people. You know what I'm saying? The late nights, the early mornings, creating content, creating thumbnails, creating the titles to the joint, making sure this shit go, learning the algorithm so everything goes green, learning how to get the money out this shit. Like the journey, meeting y'all, you know what I'm saying? Well, you had some fish, Joe?
No, I had chicken nuggets and fries.
I'm about to say you ain't eat no fish?
No, I was free.
You could.
Too.
Yeah, yeah, but you could have had some. Okay. Yeah, the Young Dolph days. You remember that Charlie P, man, going viral and shit. You know what I mean? 250,000 views in 24 hours. Yeah, you know, we made a way. We made a we made a way in this algorithm. Nobody could stop that. You know what I'm saying? We built a foundation in this algorithm that nobody could stop. And once you get to the point where nobody could stop it, it's like autopilot now. You know what I mean? We just growing this shit. Salute to all the new subscribers, everybody that's tapping in, everybody that's making their way to the Realest channel on YouTube, yours truly. You know what I mean? The analytics is saying what the analytics is saying. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, like I said, man, it's just a journey. It's a part of this shit. So I'm about to get up. I already packed up. I got a couple things I need to do. I gotta pack my food up. You know what I'm saying? I'm going on a 5-day fast, man. Well, it's not even really a fast. I'm not gonna call it a fast. But I go on like a 5. When I go on the road, I might eat apples and fish and rice. You know what I'm saying? And that's it for this week. So it's just gonna be fish and rice, and then I'm gonna eat like apples in between. So yeah, that's the game plan. You know what I mean? Going out, coming back this weekend, going live, and we're gonna do that for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And by then I should be getting calls from Exxon or this, pilots or Loves or, uh, you know, BP, whatever, moving, it's a couple of government positions that's opening, that's available. I might just drive kerosene and oil for the government, you know what I'm saying? 3-4 days out the week and then be off, however it works. We will be doing that, and we will be talking about it. And this is what I like to do over here. These other YouTube, like, you know what I'm saying, these niggas trust me, they work somewhere. They doing something when they get off this live stream. They doing something, you know what I mean? And I like to show y'all this shit. I like to do it. It motivates me, you feel me? Because we all the same, man. We all in this matrix. I don't give a fuck how you doing it. You paying Uncle Sam. Yeah, you gotta pay to play, but don't forget Uncle Sam. That's my day one homie, like 100 grand. Now it's 40,000 square feet and new floor plans. Damn. You gotta wonder, was it all a scam? You chose crack over unity, destroying your community, just to testify and take the stand with immunity. Trying to understand it could never be you and me. I speak Guapanese fluently. I'll have them run up in your crib like it's truancy. You see? I know stacking me is the goal, but what's getting money if you gotta sell your soul? Yeah, what's getting money if you gotta sell your soul, my G? The album is coming, don't worry. Big salute to the chat, man. You already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You feel what I'm saying? Now listen, man, you can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Listen, I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick into the bottles. Straight off the bricks into the bottles. Straight, raw, pure, uncut, no extras, no preservatives. We not sugarcoating nothing, and we not dressing nothing up. I'm only here to give you this game straight raw, my G. Pure dope. All right, no fentanyl, no baking soda, no quinine. We ain't water whipping this dope, and we ain't counter whipping this dope. It's pure, and it's straight off the brick into the bottles. All right, big salute to the chat. Appreciate that. Yeah, safe travels. Will do. Highly appreciate the love. We built a community over here. This shit is real. This is not Instagram. This is not that. It's different with YouTube. You gotta have it. You know what I'm saying? And it's real. That's why I go live. I don't really do the pre-recordeds because me personally, I like the direct to consumer. I like the transfers of energy. You feel me? So yeah, big salute. Safe travels will do that. R.I.P. to Martin Luther King, man. R.I.P. to Martin Luther King, man. MLK, he died a young legend. He made a lot of mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. And I learned a lot from Martin Luther King. And anytime his birthday comes around, or anytime his federal holiday comes around, if I'm doing content, I'm going to do content on the other side of the pillow. I'ma do content on the B side. I don't like to listen to the A side. I want to hear the music that's on the B side. I want to hear the music that ain't getting put out there. It's not on radio. It's not what they pumping to the people. I want to hear that, and I'ma speak to that. You know, Martin Luther King was funded by the nuclear black family before they destroyed it, before they used every tool, every weapon, every thought that they could come up with to destroy the nuclear black family. That's how powerful we was. We was powerful enough to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, create community, because you know, y'all, they don't have any community. Build our culture, because we had culture. It wasn't from Africa. This was no African shit. We wasn't wearing African garments. My ancestors wasn't wearing kufis, nigga. We had our own culture over here already. And we was smart enough, and we was wise enough, and we was militant enough to build our families, build wealth, and then fund a Messiah, fund a man who could go out there and push our agenda and get that shit across and get our points across, who was Martin Luther King. And the higher ups and elites did what they do best. They infiltrated that. They poisoned it. They perverted it. And then they monetized off it and capitalized off it. They infiltrated what we did with Martin Luther King. They rearranged the narrative. They changed the speaking point. Then they perverted it and they poisoned it. And after they poisoned it, they assassinated it. And after they assassinated it, they capitalized and they monetized. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. R.I.P. to my Martin Luther King, man. Young legend, man. And we gonna always push your narrative. We always gonna push your story. We gonna talk about it from the real side of it. And it don't matter if they put it in schools anymore. None of that matters. None of that matters. Black culture is American culture. Black history is American history. And you gonna get down or you gonna lay down. And if you lay down, you gonna stay down. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. So you already know it's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You feel what I'm saying? Now listen, man. You can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Gang.